This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911, a shocking wake-up call.
Oh my God.
An accidental overdose sends a 3-year-old into a deep coma.
We really were uncertain if she was going to survive.
Her family prays for a miracle.
I felt so guilty because it was my medicine she had took.
Plus,
He's never going to.
curiosity leads the family pet into danger.
That's when I thought the cat wasn't going to make it out.
On Rescue 911.
Lynn and George Haynes both worked nights at a local manufacturing plant in Nashville, Tennessee. By around 10 p.m. on November 15th, 1994, George was already at work. Lynn was getting ready to start her shift, leaving their 3 young children under the supervision of George's 15-year-old daughter, Diane.
My stepdaughter, Diane, is a great child. She is responsible. She's mature. She's had seizures, so the doctors have put her on Depacote. And if you don't take it at the certain times, then it doesn't work. It's like not taking it at all. So her father bought her an alarm box. It tells you it's time to take your medicine. It was very unusual to hear it being reset at 9:30 at night. I think deep inside I knew that it wasn't Diane. I panicked. I could see Marlene and Travis, and they had just handfuls of this medicine.
Diane, get up.
When I got
honey. They
woken
your
up,
medicine.
and there was this terror going through my head. Marlene had my medicine. Some of them were in the pill box, and some of them were in her hand.
Did you take any of that?
No, Mommy, they're yucky.
Are you sure?
Marlene looked at me so funny. Her eyes were humongous.
Sit right there. Open wide.
The pills are pink, so I figured, well, if she took it, it would have faded on her tongue. There was nothing. At that point, I felt relieved.
You go lay down with Diane.
She gave me a kiss goodnight and said, "I love you, Mom."
Around 4:30 a.m., 6-year-old Sean woke up.
Marlene was making noises. She woke me up. It sounded like... Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Diane, wake up.
What's wrong?
She's breathing funny.
Marlene. Marlene. Sweetie, wake up. It's Diane. Come on, Marlene. Oh, my God.
Usually when I touch her the first time, she wakes up. And then when she didn't wake up, that just scared me to death.
My little sister, she's 3 years old, and she's making these strange noises. When I went to pick her up out of the bed, she wanted to throw up, but she couldn't.
Man, we'll send someone over to check on it. What's the address, please, man?
2216.
All right, we'll be right there, man.
Okay, thank you.
I felt so guilty because it was my medicine she had took. And I felt if I would put it up in a higher place where she couldn't have reached it, then this would have never happened.
When we continue,
I told myself, no, I'm not gonna let her die. She's gonna get better. I could never imagine life without her.
within 6 minutes, Nashville Fire Department units began arriving, including paramedic Charlie Mock. Lynn rushed home as soon as she was notified and told them her daughter might have taken Depacote.
She doesn't take this medication?
No, she does. It's Diane's.
We were very concerned for the child immediately because we didn't know how much of the medication she had taken, how much of it might have absorbed, or how far along the damage to her organs might have progressed. Did she have any other history of medical problems?
No.
All we knew really was that her central nervous system was severely depressed, and we needed to get to a hospital rapidly.
Look at Mom.
I love that girl to death. I just knew I just couldn't handle it, and it's just breaking me up inside.
I was praying a lot. I felt like I let her down. When I even suspected her taking that medicine, I should have just taken her to the hospital and had her checked.
Okay, Mom, if you'll go stand right over there, they'll be with you in just a second.
At Donaldson Hospital, 3-year-old Marlene Haynes was examined by emergency physician Janice Sanford.
She was essentially comatose on arrival. She also began having major seizures. She had several major body systems which were beginning to fail her.
Let's give her 20 cc per kilo fluid bolus, please.
We put down some medication called charcoal into a stomach tube to try to absorb any of the poison that might still be in her GI tract.
We can arrange to get her transferred.
She's probably the sickest child I've ever taken care of.
She couldn't breathe on her own. Somebody had to do it for her. And it scared me. All I could see was her head. And they had this tube coming out of her mouth with this balloon on it. They pushed that balloon, and that was her air.
Marlene was transferred to the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit of Vanderbilt Children's Hospital under the care of Dr. Jeremy Garrett.
Her blood was found to have more than 10 times the amount of Depacote that would often be used for control of seizures. It was a time-release medication, and we were very concerned that she could have delayed effects.
Just conjugate gaze.
We really were uncertain if she was going to survive.
Her condition is very serious.
It was my understanding that they had never had to deal with that type of overdose before.
It's 12 to 24 hours.
So it was
She's unconscious.
Something new for them, too.
Aware of what's happening. Right now, our focus is on to see if she'll get through it. But even if she does, there's a chance that she may end up with some sort of brain damage.
I told myself, no, I'm not going to let her die. She's going to get better. I could never imagine life without her.
Mom and Daddy's right here, baby. We love you. I knew that she was fighting for her life. I probably prayed more that night than I have in the last 20 years, I guess.
Dr. Garrett gave Marlene a drug to try to help her poisoned system carry oxygen better and waited to see what would happen.
Her Depacote level dropped dramatically throughout that day.
Mama's here. Daddy's here, Marlene.
Hi, baby. There's Daddy's pizza.
When she smiled and said, "Hi, Daddy," I felt ecstatic. You want to just run up down the street and just scream and shout. It's just a wonderful feeling to have her and to have her back the way she was.
2 months have passed since the incident.
It says, touch the arrow to change computer words.
When Marlene came back home, I just grabbed a hold of her and just thanked God that she was okay. Thank God she's here instead of up there with him.
Say, is anybody home? Hello.
We almost lost our child because of something that could have been prevented.
The doctors had said if it would have been 15 minutes later, she would have died.
Come on.
A lot of pills are brightly colored, and they can look like candy. It's very important that the parents keep the pills in their original child-proof containers and then keep them on a high locked shelf out of the reach of their children to prevent them from sampling some of the pills that they may very well think are candy.
It doesn't hurt me. My mom, Daddy.
When I look at Marlene now, I see a lifetime with her, and I am just so grateful to everyone.
It knocks one down, Sean, every 5 minutes. One on each side every 5 minutes.
I kind of felt like it was an awakening personally because it made me think about how much we take for granted. I believe that the greatest treasure we have on this earth is the children that God gives us.
Next.
They kept mentioning breaking up the floor. That wasn't going to work. There's no way you're going to punch through 6 inches of concrete with a live cat underneath you. That's when I thought that the cat wasn't going to make it out.
Boy, he is really stuck in there.
If you have cats, you've probably come to accept their eccentricities, just as Judith Keene of Bowie, Maryland, had accepted her cat, Honey Bunny's, particular and peculiar habit, until one weekend in April of 1994, when it proved to be more than she could handle.
I have 5 animals, 2 dogs, 3 cats. And since I have owned these cats, I have become one of those nutty cat women who have cat jewelry and shirts. And I even have a shirt that says, "My cat is the cutest cat in the world." I got Honey Bunny because somebody threw this cat out of the car. He's a very sweet cat, but when he plays, he's a real wrestler. And he does get into trouble. Ever since I've had him, he would go down in events. He just likes to tunnel through the house, and it's a big adventure for him, I guess. Oh, come on, Honey Bunny. He had always done it, so it never occurred to me that he could hurt himself. I'm telling you, you need to get out of there now. My daughter says he's overweight. He eats only light cat food since he's been a year old, and he's still overweight. Honey Bunny, don't be coming in here. I said, "Honey Bunny, I am going to church, and I'm going out to dinner, and when I get back, you darn well better be out of there. You know, you can get into trouble in here. This is small."
Judith returned home about 3 hours later.
Hi, guys. Hi. Did you get Honey out of there? The first thing I did was go in to see if he was still in there. Oh, God. At this point, his whole head had advanced into the vent. Oh, my God. You need to get out of there. I tried to push him back and was unsuccessful. His shoulder seemed very tight, so I figured that he was stuck in the vent. Honey Bunny. Oh, Honey Bunny. I had no idea how to get this cat out of there, and that frightened me.
Around 9:45 p.m., Prince George's County Animal Control sent Officer Julius Campbell to check on the problem.
He was not making any noises to lead me to think that he was in any discomfort at all. And the little area that I could see him through was just too small for this huge cat to be pulled up through.
Oh, right now.
With animal control, we're not allowed to tear up anything in your house.
Close that vent in that room there.
What I advised her was to give the cat a chance to come out on his own.
All right, Honey Bunny, listen. I did exactly what the animal control person told me. I put the vent cover on, and I put a vacuum cleaner over it so that the cat wouldn't keep trying to come out of the hole that he couldn't come out of because he's physically twice the size of it. Okay, come on, Honey Bunny, come on. You gotta come back this way. I put the can of cat food in there. A 16-pound cat does like to eat.
This is not for you.
And I had my animals come to bed with me. I was up pretty much the whole night. And I came down around 2 o'clock. Oh, honey. And the cat had pushed the vacuum cleaner off, and he was fully into the vent. Now he was really stuck. He couldn't move. By around 5 o'clock, the cat was no longer just meowing, it was yowling. What's going on in here, God? I felt that I couldn't wake people up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I made it till 6.
The minute she called, I knew if she's calling me at 6 o'clock in the morning, it couldn't be good.
Two of the first people Judith woke up that morning were her daughter Susan and her daughter's husband J.B., both of whom are veterinarians.
She said, somebody's got to do something, and you need to be over here, A, because I'm a veterinarian, B, because it's her daughter, and she just needed the moral support.
He's never gone in there before.
All I could see was his head through this narrow vent opening. Luckily, I could see his pink nose, which I knew meant that he was breathing okay and his color was good. But I knew right away that there was no easy way to just pull this cat out of the opening because he was solidly wedged in there.
It was early in the morning, and I didn't have my wits about me, so I envisioned somehow getting some heavy machinery to open up the floor to get the cat out.
Judith also got her friend and next-door neighbor, Fire Chief Jim Crouch, out of bed.
Judy, it's me.
Boy, he is really stuck in there.
Only your mother, you know? They kept mentioning breaking up the floor. Any worse than last night? That wasn't going to work. There's no way you're going to punch through 6 inches of concrete with a live cat underneath you without doing injury to the cat.
Jimmy, he don't look so good.
When you pushed on his head to push him backwards, his bottom would get bigger. It was like pushing on a cork in a wine bottle. He wasn't going to come out.
I think I got an idea how we can get him out.
So I figured if the cat wasn't going to do it on his own, we'd have to back him up for him.
Do me a favor, kind of clean this out and fill it up with real soapy water.
Chief Crouch came up with the idea of snaking a rope through and then using a bug sprayer to flood the vent with soapy water.
I also got a bigger light.
So that he'd be a little slimmer and a little easier to basically move around or slide around in there.
Am I getting him?
When I called the station to see if I could get somebody to give me a hand, 2 of the volunteers offered to come down with the fire truck.
Once they were totally ready and had everything set up, then I went ahead and anesthetized him.
Just kind of moving a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, honey bunny. It's all right. Hang in there.
He was not happy about getting the injection, but a small needle in his shoulder was nothing compared to being wedged in this tight space and not having food and water for the past 10 hours, which for him is a big ordeal. My mom's cats don't miss any meals.
Can we, if I pull up the legs?
In order to get to the hind legs of the cat, we had to actually push him up into the hole farther, and that didn't make him too happy.
Pat, yeah, go ahead and start the pull. Real slow. Real easy.
All right, he's not coming.
When we couldn't move him with the soapy water, that's when I thought that the cat wasn't going to make it out.
Hang on a minute.
Immediately, Jim Crouch said stop and put his hand back in there and was feeling around, and there was an area where the duct kind of jutted out a little bit more than the rest of it. And he felt that Honey Bunny's shoulder was getting hung up right there.
Judy?
Yeah.
Have you got some like petroleum jelly or something?
Yes.
We went and got some petroleum jelly and lubed the cat all up with it.
Handy petroleum jelly. This won't make them too happy, but it'll make them slide out. All right, guys, you ready? You ready to go, Jimmy? Go ahead and pull.
All right.
Maybe you push. All right, yeah.
All right, you're almost there. Come on. Not too much longer.
Between the petroleum jelly and the soapy water, we were able to pull them back about 10 feet. But then he was starting to get a little stuck again.
Hang on a minute. Your finger over that nail. Might break his legs.
Break his legs? I heard them mention that they may have to break the cat's legs.
Have to do is get him out. I can put him back together.
With that, I was out the door like a shot.
All right, we got feet.
She's coming. We got feet. We see the cat.
Pat, one of the firemen, he was able to scruff the cat and get his head up, but then he met some resistance.
You want to pull him out? I've got him.
All right, here, I'll swap with you guys.
Okay, honey bunny.
Almost there. I get the oxygen.
JB walks over to the vent and he grabs a hold of Honey Bunny from the shoulder area and starts manipulating him, and next thing you know, he's out.
Okay, Jimmy's out.
Yay, JB! And immediately we were all cheering and yay, thank goodness, good job, JB, got him out.
There you go, honey bunny.
There you go, there's a boy.
Yeah, he's coming around. He hasn't moved a whole lot. He kicked a little bit, so you could tell he was doing okay. He was coming out of the anesthetic. And that was the biggest sigh of relief I think I've had in a long time.
Yeah, what is he looking at?
I think he's avoidance.
Insects, birds, yeah, avoidance.
Avoidance, he's just looking the other way. I just cannot imagine if I lost that cat. I have a saying that I use with my children at school that they're crying in their Kool-Aid. I'd be crying in my Kool-Aid from now on. Thank goodness you were home, fun.
My mom's love of animals while I was growing up is part of the reason why I ended up being a veterinarian. My mom says now if she had to do it over again, she would have one child and a lot more animals instead of one animal and 3 children, but I don't think she really means it.
Peaches, scruffy your shame.
Peaches, you want a treat?
We don't normally respond on trapped animals like this, but sometimes there's a benefit of living next to the fire chief, and this was one of them.
My enabler. Yeah, well, where'd I get them all? These people are wonderful. They're all volunteers. They come like Galahad, well, there are knights in shining armor. They just drive fire trucks today.
Yes, you're good. Yes, you're good. Look at everybody.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.